So the most common lines the braided lines that we put on reels is a Power Pro or a Tough line.
And that's
they're just a brand. I was going to say
brand, okay.
Power Pro is just, it's been around for years. Spectra line, Tough line has been around also for years. You know, so they're both braided lines, both very good. They both come in a 4 and an 8 braid.
Okay.
You know, so you're thinking of 4 strands of line braided together or 8 braided together.
Sure.
The 8 tends to be a little bit more expensive. I think you can get away just fine with a 4 braid, and then as you move and get more experience and stuff, you might change to an 8 braid, which tends to maybe cast a little bit better, smoother, more round.
Okay.
But the cool thing about braided line is that it will last a heck of a lot longer than a monofilament.
Okay.
And so we recommend the braided line. The size or the weight associated with the line, usually it's a 30-pound. We recommend 30-pound braid, which is the equivalent of an 8-pound test line in terms of diameter.
Okay. Yeah.
Some guys will go up to 40. Some guys will go up to 50. And again, the reason why is that, well, I want this reel to fish, you know, coho, steelhead, maybe chinook, which is great. And as long as the spool will facilitate that size of line, then I think that's a great option.
Okay. So braid is stronger.
Will last longer.
It's going to last longer.
It'll cast, I think, a little bit better than a monofilament line.
And it
especially
looks like
now that they have
color of this one.
Right. There's colors that are high vis, so you can see your line better.
And they're going to float, right?
Yep. The Power Pro makes a version 2, a super slick, which has a coating on it, which facilitates a little bit better floating. There's Suffix line, there's J braid, which is Daiwa. So there's a lot of different lines out there, and we sell them in bulk, or you can buy them in the packages and go from there.
So
we recommend braided line.
Let's say that I'm coming in, I buy this reel from you, I buy a rod from you. You'll just put the line on it for me.
Yeah,
right?
we put the line on for free. In terms of putting the line, you have to buy the line, so each of them have different price points, but we'll put line, or they bring their own line in, we'll put it on there.
So let's say I just want to go for this 8 braid, 30 pound, this yellow stuff, because it has that nice viz. What am I looking at for getting line on?
So for every 100 yards for that high viz, it would be $15 for every 100 yards. And typically for a spinning reel, you know, if it's a 3000, you'll get about 120 yards on it. For a bait cast, it's about the same. So you're looking at putting in an extra $16 for line.
Okay.
But keep in mind, the braid, again, it's not going to last one season. It will last several years. And in fact, you can bring your reel in, we can take the line off and turn it over and reverse it, so you get another number of years, because there's, you know, probably several hundred or several yards that you haven't used down there. So we do that a lot.
You'll stretch the line completely out, reverse the side of the
we'll take
reel,
it off, we'll reverse it, put it back on, and now you got new line.
You double the life of my line. I like it. Okay.
And the negatives of it are, you know, sometimes you'll get a fade. If you get into, if there's knots or something that, you know, wind knots or anything, they're difficult to get out, much more difficult than monofilament. It is strong line, so if you're fishing with a spinner or something and you get snagged up, it will, you know, you typically won't break that braid. You'll tend to bend a hook or something like that, and which is not a bad thing. Or you just tie a leader to the braid, which is typical of drift fishing, or bobber and jig or bobber and bead. So the fish aren't going to be distracted by the braided line because you've got a leader there.
So by a leader, you just mean that from our
piece
braid,
of monofilament.
We're just going to run a basic piece of monofilament with our gear on it. Where it's going to be more likely to break that than our braid, so we might save gear. It will be less likely to spook a fish.
Exactly. More stealthy.
Works for me. So what weight do you recommend with your monofilament?
If you're using a 30-pound braid, then we would, and if you're, let's just say you're bobber and jig fishing, or doing a bobber and bead, or maybe even bobber dogging, you know, a 12-pound monofilament leader would suffice, depending on what river system you're. Sometimes you might go bigger, might go 15, but typically 12. In some rivers, you could go as light as 10. Yeah. So it's a good option to have, and we go through a lot of line, especially now.
I bet.
Especially now.